It is suitable for general family viewing.
Bila shaka natumai kwamba mzima popote pale ulipo, hujambo na karibu katika kipindi Mfahamu Kiongozi, pale ambapo huwa nakupa nafasi kuweza kuwafahamu viongozi mbalimbali humu nchini. Na hii leo ninazungumza na mojawapo ya viongozi bora walioboreshwa katika miaka yao katika uongozi, katika masuala ya elimu na masuala mengine, sio mwingine ila ni Daktari Lilian Gogo. Nitakuwa nikizungumza nawe akwambie ni mbunge kutoka wapi, lakini je, safari yake ya maisha kufikia mahali alipo, kufikia kiongozi, imekuwa namna gani? Unawasiliana nasi kwa 22047 na mitandao ya kijamii @TV47 Kenya pale Facebook na ukurasa wetu wa Twitter. Ukurasa wangu binafsi L_Liza. Kauli yako inakubalika. Asante sana daktari kuchagua kunipa nafasi kuzungumza nawe. Nitauliza, ulizaliwa wapi?
Nilizaliwa wapi? Niongee kwa lugha ya Kiswahili.
Unaweza mix.
Naweza mix.
Yes.
I was born and partly bred in Siaya and Naivasha. I was born in Naivasha. Nikaenda na wazazi, baba alipohamishwa kupewa transfer kwenda Lodwar, nikapelekwa kuishi na mama mashamba huko Siaya. So mimi nimelelewa Siaya. I was born in a family of 14, in a polygamous family. 14 years.
Yes. Polygamous. Mama akiwa na wangapi?
Mama akiwa na 4 na my stepmother akiwa na 10 of us, 10 of them.
Katika familia,
boys and girls. Familia moja kubwa, tunakula pamoja, na kwa hiyo familia yetu kubwa tulikuwa tunaishi kwa nyanyangu. My grandfather passed on earlier, sikumuona, but nyanyangu nilimuona.
Ulimuona?
Hata nyanyangu alikuwa na co-wife.
Yes.
So my nyanyangu alikuwa na co-wife wenye alikuwa na vijana na my wives moja, wawili, watatu hivi, and we were all clumped up. Tuliwekwa katika boma moja kubwa, big home, and the routine was kukipikwa, kila mtu tunaenda tunakula.
Inawekwa kwa sahani moja kubwa ama?
Hata si kwa sahani moja kubwa, whatever the size of the sahani, watu walikuwa na share hii chakula, my friend.
Nyinyi wote?
There is nothing like ni kubwa, hata kama ni kidogo ama ni nini, but more often than not hii chakula ilikuwa ni kidogo. Kwa sababu the food was very rare where I was born and bred. And if you make any mistake of eating with me or we share with you lunch, my friend, compare yenye utapata hapo haitakuwa kidogo. Because I was born, mimi nilizaliwa kwenye watu wanang'ang'ania chakula. Yani uniokoe mkono yangu na mdomo.
Ikiwekwa chini.
Ta.
Hata kama utakula mikono yote ni.
Yeah. Ta. It's done. Survival.
Mtu amewekwa na wewe anajua it's time.
Si mimi, all of us, yani ni ujisurvivishe. Wewe ndio utasurvive na wewe ndio utajipanga. Chakula kimewekwa hapo, more often than not, children would only access ugali and soup.
Yes.
Taking meat, taking fish, taking whatever was a luxury.
Yes.
And when my father, who would more often than not stay where he was working, I was born to a prison warden. And my mother was a house girl who graduated into a peasant farmer. Before they met, I'm sure she was hawking milk, and she was working in somebody's farm. Was also a house girl there, so she would go hawk milk from the farm. That's how they met. That is their story.
Life ilikuwa namna gani kwako kama mtoto mdogo?
Kama mtoto mdogo yenyewe, I didn't realize anything about it. I didn't realize whether I was suffering or not, but it must have been hard when I look back. But that particular time, it didn't bother me.
It was interesting to an extent that uko unafeel kama.
No. By the way, very many poor people at times, most often than not, they don't realize they're poor and they don't care. So if you are even working so hard to get them from poverty, they don't really appreciate your effort. They are okay, they are comfortable in how they live, and that is also
katika familia ya 14 people. Wakati huu wote as a young girl, were you schooling?
I went to school, yes. My father loved school. My mother loved school. We would go to school. I was a school head girl. But I'm telling you, my friend, it was tough because I remember that of course we would go barefooted. There was nothing like having shoes.
When was the first time you wore your shoes? A good pair of shoes.
A good pair of shoes that was not very good was when I went to Form 1, and it was compulsory. But in between, I would borrow shoes from people who had, my cousins who had, I would borrow shoes from them. And somebody would be careful to remind you, utembeze hiyo kiatu vizuri.
Okay, akikupea leo na kukumbusha nimekupea.
Saa zingine hata yeye ako kwa hiyo msafara, mnaenda pamoja, anakuambia wewe ujue hiyo kiatu.
Hii ni kitu ilikufanyikia?
No, I'm talking about what happened to me. Actually, there were two girls, Atieno and Baby. So Baby had shoes, Atieno had clothes. So I would go for Atieno's clothes, but Baby specifically, because her father was working in Uganda, she was able to get shoes.
All this time as a young girl, ni kipi ambacho ulikuwa unataka kukua? Manake every girl, every human being, every child akona dream. Ukiamka every morning going to school. What was your dream?
Initially, I wanted to be a doctor, but I was also not very sure whether I wanted to be a doctor, really. I wanted to be a doctor because I thought medicine was good. It was not anything that I was really called to do, but I also loved being a teacher because I could see teachers, and those days teachers would dress well. That was the immediate decent person you would see in the village. So I wouldn't have minded being a teacher. But for all I cared, I only wanted to do my education, get cleared with it, get a job, and only do one thing in life, buy my mother a cupboard. I only wanted to buy my mother a cupboard because we had few utensils, about 2 to 3, about 3, 1, 2, there were 4 in number. One for ugali when visitors come, but we would use some traditional ugali holder. Yeah, we had some traditional ugali holder that we would put ugali inside, and it was deep so that the ugali could not. So that we would conventionally use at home. But we had the one for plate for ugali and about 3 others that we would share.
In short, you had 4.
We had about 4 plates. And when they would be washed, they would be hung in a rack outside. And I would really get worried that somebody would steal these 3.
The reason you wanted ununulie your mama cupboard for your utensils, the 4 of them?
The 4 of them, iwekwe ndani ya nyumba so that somebody would not steal them. The alternative was, and this is what I would do, I would wash them, and after washing them, then I go put them next to the wall on a dusty floor. Of course, they would dry up, but they would dry up with the dust, and then you wipe. So I desperately needed to buy a cupboard for my mom. I didn't think of big dreams.
You had no dreams?
I had no big dream of even buying, making my mother a house, a land. No.
Your dream was a cupboard?
I just needed to buy my mom a cupboard. I didn't care where we were going to put it, but I just needed to buy my mom a cupboard and just be happy that I would have done something for my mom, which was an easy target.
Getting school fees, kwako ilikuwa rahisi?
No, it was hard. Many times. I remember when I was to report to Form 1, I went 2 weeks to closing because I could not afford to get the requirements plus school fees. And I really want to appreciate my primary school teacher, Mwalimu James Walunya, who comes from Game in Siaya County, and his late wife, who now decided to adopted me in terms of they would really go out of their way to make me get my get a few valuables that I would need as a girl. I told you that I had a uniform which was done when I was in class 5, and I wore it for more than 3 years, every day. It reached a point, it really got very torn, to the extent that I had tears at the joints where there was new thread. So at some point it was too bad that my pant would literally be seen, but even that pant was torn.
So everything you had ilikuwa imeraruka tu?
Yeah, imeraruka, it's torn. And by the way, when I give this story, people tend to think I'm exaggerating. But recently, my brother, when they went through the house, they got some photo. I'm so excited about that photo. And he actually got this torn uniform But Mwalimu James and his wife bought me some new uniform that I use now for completing class 8. And also, even me, when I was done, I donated that uniform to another girl whom I left in school.
Okay. After Form 4, or rather when you're going to a high school, what was also your dream and what was your goal? And after Form 4?
High school, I was a little more focused. There, I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a doctor.
What changed your mind now from cupboard to a doctor?
No, the cupboard was the effect of becoming a doctor. There was either that teacher or that doctor, but what I was going to be a doctor to just buy a cupboard. If I was going to accomplish that, I would have reached.
Not even a house?
No. A house was not my priority. I just needed a cupboard. Of course, I ended up going to Egerton University. I was not called for medicine. Egerton was not offering it then, but I was called to go and do dairy technology. And when I was called to do, I was really very disappointed because I thought the only thing one would study was medicine and probably double maths. Yeah, because there was somebody, a young man in our village who had done double maths. So the only thing that I could also study was double.
And was doing well. So was your inspiration.
Yeah. So when I worked very hard. About that time also I met another person here. See what I mean?
This person, you met them in university?
At the university, I met them. I got unwell. I used to have period pains, very, very bad ones. So we met. I got sick during exams, and then I was taken to the sanatorium at Egerton. Then the person who was attending to me almost bullied me, and out of that we knew each other.
And everything grew from that?
Yeah, and things grew from that, and he's the father of my...
Oh, congratulations. That's a beautiful story. From being a patient to later on being a wife and a mother.
When this guy came into my life, of course he helped us he gave us quite a bit of a relief.
Yeah.
Because he was working. He was also strained because his family, he was the main breadwinner. His father was not having a job. His mother was also at home, and they also had a raft of children. They were a big family.
Yeah.
So he was taking care of them, and also adopted four of ours, because in our sub family in the polygamy we are 4 and they are 10. So he adopted these 4. At least there was a bit of relief on me. But after Form 4 I worked as a teacher. I met that teaching dream of mine.
And you bought the cupboard?
Teacher. I didn't buy the cupboard. The priority this time was to buy my mother fish.
No, from cupboard, after teaching, now you want her to have fish.
Nothing had ever given me satisfaction. And you know, I was being paid 800 shillings at the end of the month. But the day I was paid that money, my friend, I went and did my mother's shopping, starting with fish.
Fish first.
Fish, I bought tomatoes, I bought onions, and we went and did. It was a big party. Went to the university, studied undergraduate, got married second year at the university.
Oh.
I was settled.
Had you bought the cupboard or it came?
No, kabati haijanunuliwa bado. Unaenda haraka zako na cupboard is going to come.
Unajua inanifurahisha. Someone alitoka nyumbani akiwa na dream, akafika university akaona kitu ingine.
Unaona kitu ingine, unaendelea tu pole pole.
Ndiye akaolewa, and
by second year, actually more or less end of first year, I had settled. Because he was also a very handsome man. Enyewe
ungeachilia.
Hapana, singemwacha. And he was good. Unajua tu.
Angalia hapa ukaona hii nikiachilia itapita na mtu.
You can multitask.
Yes.
So
and women are blessed with that.
Yes, they are blessed with that. So I got married. It got a bit of relief on my family. And this guy came up with the idea, why don't we build Mama a house? Yeah.
Now from cupboard.
Yes, why don't we build Mama a house? And I must appreciate him. There is the money my father used, all his retirement benefits, which was about, I think, 70,000, if I'm not wrong. He used in building my mother and my stepmother semi-permanent houses. Yeah. Then I had a late sister called Alice. her husband went and came and plastered the house, blah blah. So yetu ilibaki haijafanywa. Sasa huyu jamaa pia alikuja akafanya hii, but he said no, instead of us doing this, why don't we build a more permanent house, a better house? And that is how my mother got a better house. And then after that, I still had my kid dream. So me, I went and I bought my mother. Come on. Finished. Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished with you buying your cupboard. How did it feel seeing your dream come true?
Bana. Unajua hizi vitu yenye inafanyika ni umefika.
Na hizi vitu
ndogo hizo. Yeah. Mimi nilikuwa nimefika kabisa. I was satisfied with myself, but my passion for school was immeasurable. Yes. As much as I was married, I never missed any class. I never missed any lesson. I got my firstborn 3 years after getting married, so that I could give enough time for my education. And I really worked very hard. I never had any supplementaries. I really, really tried to go out of my way to balance everything, education and family. And also working with him at his that time he was also studying, by the way. He was doing his master's. Yeah. Where we met, he took leave and went to study. Yes. So I was literally taking care of a whole large family. But God was gracious enough to get us through that. And once he was done, he came and opened, he's a medical doctor, he came and opened up his own private practice, but he was also still working at Egerton University. So, mimi nikawa mtu wa mkono tu mwenye amesoma.
Ndani ya hospitali, na it's your dream also, kumbuka you want to be a doctor?
Yes. So, actually it gave me a very good opportunity of meeting part of my dream of wanting to work in the medical sector. Yes. So I helped with that, and as I was doing my master's, I did my master's. After that, he is the one who pushed me. Doing a master's without a PhD is not a good thing. Yes. I also bought it. Yes. And I directly went to do my PhD.
And here you are.
Under 35, I was already having my PhD.
Under 35?
Yes, I was already.
That's a beautiful thing.
I was
a family woman, a PhD holder, daktari, by virtue that you had studied, and here you are pursuing everything. At what point uliingia masuala ya siasa? I would like to hear that bit.
Masuala ya siasa, after PhD, I was employed to work with KEMU towards the tail end of my studies, Kenya Methodist University, but also because he was in Nakuru, I had to go back and then live in Nakuru, so I was employed by Egerton University. So I worked as a university lecturer for a while, and it is normally like juogi. Juogi in Luo means something that is in the spirit. Yes. Politics is in the spirit. Yes. So at what point did you want to? You use politics to want to solve community issues, to want to address issues.
And already the issues you'd seen them,
yes.
You had grown with them.
Yeah. When I was growing up, water was a problem where I was born and bred. We wake up at 3 to go and look for water. Where I was married, which is now in Homa Bay County, women were facing the same problems. Water, women wake up at 3 in the morning. A lot of work, school fees issues, education of the girl child and mentoring, hands on getting resources. The main problem with the societal solution to problems is resources. You want to do it, but you can't do it because you don't have money. As a university lecturer, I didn't have money. But now if I was to get into a political position, in an elective position, using my office, when I come to your office and I say, I'm the member of parliament for Rangwe, you would listen to me more than if I would come to you. I'm a university lecturer, and I want to go and do this to this women group. But when I'm in a leadership position, other than the single women groups, I'm able to influence a larger group, and this would bring bigger society.
That's how you
and that is how I got into politics. That's how I got interest in politics. Yes.
Coming to politics, kuna changamoto zake, which are a lot, and you have a young family which you needed to balance. Were you not scared of this?
No, when you're scared, when you start by being scared, you would never achieve anything. First, throw yourself in the deep end. Innocently, you don't know it's deep end, but once you find yourself in the deep end of the swimming pool, then you struggle to survive. And that is also what also happened with me. I didn't know what I was getting myself into actually, because I had never involved myself with active politics. Even as a student leader at the university, because at the university I was already married. So I had a young family to nurture. So I didn't participate in university politics. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. But once I was there, I normally have a very high sense of focus.
And a very high spirit.
High sense of focus, high sense of self-motivation.
Yes.
And I got into it. And I went for it. And I got supporters. And I went asking for the votes.
Was your husband and your family supportive of this?
My husband was initially supportive of it because he didn't know what he was getting. He didn't know what he was getting himself into. Then you are to be coming late at night. Then you are to be having, he said, "Apana, this
like
thing now is too much."
With the wife.
Yeah. So he almost wanted to retract, but he's been supportive. He's been supportive, but it really takes a toll on the family.
The challenge with women getting into power and into leadership is because of their family and the security which comes with everyone in the family, including the close person and the spouse. How do you advise them? Because I know majority of...
Especially for the male folk, I would tell them, release your women. Just release them to go and be what they can be. Because the insecurity comes about as a result of thinking that when she's exposed to these people who have money, then she is going to be a different person. Even if I am a teacher and I want to be a bad girl, I would still be a bad girl in my teaching. If I am a mama mboga and I want to be a bad girl, I will still be a bad girl when I'm selling my vegetables. But when I want to be forthright in whatever capacity or whatever level of service, you would just serve.
A bad girl is just a bad girl.
A bad girl would be a bad girl, and a good girl would just be a good girl.
Take me through.
This is what I'm saying. I have had to interact with some of the finest women leaders in this country. Talk of Mama Phoebe Asio, the icon of leadership in our county and the greater Kenya. This a polished woman. You would never find Mama messing around. I have my own role model, Mama Dr. Ida Betty Odinga. This is somebody also who is exposed much and has to live with another person who is a bombshell, a huge person, a huge name in politics and even in any other leadership, an engineer. But she's still able to contain this man and know that at this point I should be Mama Ida, and at this point I should be the wife of Raila, and at this point I should be a grandmother. You know, there are many women leaders whom I've interacted with, and we can borrow from them, we can copy. So I would urge our male folk, we are having an issue with gender parity in leadership positions, in positions of management. If we don't release our women, if we don't release our girls, who is going to occupy these positions? If we were to fight and pass the 2/3 gender rule, and the women don't present themselves to be elected or to be nominated or wherever leadership is there for them, when your wife as a head of banking in Nairobi is transferred to Kisumu, let them
go. Let them work, support them.
Yes, support them in their studies. But I also want to laud men. If you take statistics, it is women, many women are doing PhDs than men in the current position. Why? Men are letting go. They are realizing the potential that is there in women, and they are giving them more space. They are ceding more space. And when we continue to do this, when you do one good thing to a woman, you have done it to the whole society.
Take me throughout your day. When you wake up, the moment, whatever you do throughout the day, and also how you strike a balance between yourself, business, and family, and also politics.
It is a very, very intricate balance. It's an intricate balance because a political system at times is normally unpredictable. So it interferes with the plan, a rigid, strict plan which you already make. when I wake up, the first thing in the morning is that I wake up and I open my eyes wide and I reflect. I just reflect and I just find out if I've woken up. I confirm if I've woken.
You're okay.
Yeah. I don't do anything. I open up my eyes first and I just lay still. I lay still maybe for about 10 minutes or so, then I pray. I normally just pray in my bed, or at times, depending on what I'm going through, I can be on my knees or I can just pray in my bed. Once I have prayed, more often than not, I go back to sleep. I sleep for another 30 minutes. Then I now wake up. Yeah, once I've woken up, probably I do breakfast, which many times I don't concentrate on, because right now my kids are big. I have a daughter who is married in the US. I have a daughter who has done university. And then I have 2 daughters. The last born and the second last born are in a high school. So I more often than not literally live alone. So I may not do breakfast, but if we are all together, we do breakfast. I take breakfast. I look at my books. I've been studying, by the way. I just graduated last year. So if it were not for studies, but like right now I'm not studying, but if it was for studies, I would wake up early at 3 every day. I graduated with a Bachelor of Laws last year from the University of Nairobi. So if it is a time I'm going to school, I would study. If I'm like right now, I'm not going to school, I've been relaxing. Actually, the doctor thought that it was too much on me with what I'm doing. I said I take a break. If I were to join Kenya School of Law, then I would be studying probably 2 hours in the morning. Then after that, if it is Bunge days, depending on, because Bunge plenaries are on Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, then I go through work that is impending for Bunge. Then I also do my calls to the constituency. If I've not gone to the constituency, find out how the constituency is going. And then after that, maybe one friend, I talk to a friend. There is a friend of mine at the constituency whom we always talk to. I talk to every day. Yeah, then I hit the day running.
What are your hobbies when I will not find you working, when I will not find you?
I would read a book. I love reading. I would read something, but I prefer reading to be examined. I prefer reading so that somebody administers an examination on me and gives me a certificate.
That is your hobby?
That is something that just relaxes me. When I know that, oh, there is an exam coming, it is self-actualization.
I want your brain. Please transfer it to me.
I feel so nice about it. But apart from that, if I can, I walk. I love walking. I can do 10 kilometers. But yes, but now I think when we went for elections for 2022, I didn't do much of it. I think it should pick up. I cook if I can.
That apple kwa chakula, now you've spoken, I'll come home. We eat.
Come. I will do for you strictly omena heads. Do you know omena?
I don't know. I don't know. Thank you so much, Wish. I appreciate. What is your advice to women who have watched you today?
My advice to women who have watched me today is that come out, women. Come out. It is your time. It is your time, and your time is now. You want to do something, go for it. Give it your best. Be prayerful about it. You will reach there. We want women to change the face of this country. Space has been created by people who came ahead of us. We are also walking this rope, okay? So come walk after us. If you want us to tag you along, we are more than willing. I am more than willing to tag along a few women so that we walk this journey.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for creating at least time to talk to me. Your story is an amazing one. And I believe it's going to be one of the best MFAHAMU Kiongozis I've ever done. May God bless you and may keep shining on your way as you go to the next level. Thank you so much. Imekuwa MFAHAMU Kiongozi, nimeenjoy. Na Mheshimiwa Lilian Gogo, ninatumai umefurahi jinsi ambavyo unaona nimefurahia kusikia story yake, na sikudanganya. Ni lazima nikakule omena heads. Kwa heri kwa sasa. Jina langu Liz Mutiko.
We value your feedback. If you would like to send questions, comments, suggestions, or complaints for any of our programs, call us on telephone number 0740 047 047 or